welcome back, everybody, once again to the Adult Table. I, of course, am Trav, one of your hosts, joined once again, of course, as always, with my co-host, the great and powerful, the legendary, the beast among men, the gorilla, the vanilla gorilla himself, Mr. Joey fucking Fats.
What I do, baby? What's good?
Well,
Good to be back, bud. I've been looking forward to this show since sometime around at like 4:30 or 3 o'clock on Friday afternoon.
yeah, I have been since before that because when this all went down, what we'll be getting into right now, happened while I was like in the middle of my work shift Friday afternoon, and I started seeing some updates about it. I was like, oh, and then I started messaging people about it, and I didn't actually get to watch any of it until I finally got home. But when I did, holy shit, was everything confirmed with what I voted for, and voting for, once again, President Donald J. Trump, 45 and 47.
Uncle fucking Donnie strikes again. It's just, we keep saying it every week, and I'm going to keep saying it until it doesn't. I don't care how fucking old it gets or how sick of people get hearing it, but the one lie he ever told was that we would be sick of the winning because there's going to be so much of it, and I can promise you I am nowhere near sick of winning.
The streak continues. It lives on. Now we're just over a month into his presidency for the second term, and yeah, I see that being the only lie that he will have told going into this, the previous campaign leading into this presidency.
Yeah, I mean, listen, and obviously we're going to get into it in detail here in a few minutes, but like, this is what Friday at whatever 2 p.m. or whatever time that meeting went off, because I know I was pulling into work at around like 2:30, and I opened up my phone to like text my wife to tell her I was there, and I was just like, wait a minute, oh my god. And I spent like 10 minutes watching like the videos before I went into work, and I was like, I didn't expect to wake up and see a fucking full-blown assassination on TV today. Like, holy shit, dude.
Essentially, that's
fucking
what happened. Like, Zelenskyy showed up there looking like me standing next to Trump in black pajamas. Full, nearly a foot shorter than him. And then he went in with attitude and without gratitude.
Big time. That's because Victoria Nuland told him to.
It started off, cordial enough, but things quickly took a turn when he had his agenda to make a scene, and he had printed out photos ready. He has this assistant for the folder that had before and after pictures of, Ukrainian soldiers from before the conflict started and now. And they look like kind of emaciated and what have you. It's like, yeah, Russia bad. We understand that. But
Russia bad. Ukraine also not good.
But you didn't come here to just... he did not go there with the mineral deal in mind. Or making peace in mind. A ceasefire at all. He went there with his own agenda to make a spectacle of things. And it bit him in the ass.
Because he was coached up by a bunch of fucking Obama supporting, figureheads, and that's what he was told to do to try to make Trump look bad, and it worked to a degree, but then again, it really didn't work at all because just to set the table here for the folks that don't quite know exactly what happened here. Zelenskyy and Marco Rubio had worked out a deal where the Ukraine is rich in rare earth minerals, which we are going to need if we are going to bring back microprocessors and chip production and all that shit from China back to the United States, right? So we're going to need these materials in order to make all that happen. Mm-hmm. So we strike this deal with Ukraine. We say, okay, you guys are going to have a ceasefire, and in order to pay us back, you're going to give us a stake in your rare earth mineral mines, and we will go over and mine them.
It was a 50-50 deal, too.
Yeah, a 50-50 deal. So pretty good deal for you guys. And
you get the security.
We can't say this out loud because, Vladdy over there might not like this, but guess what? We're going to have a security presence over there because we're going to be guarding our interests. Our interests. And Zelensky comes to, and he says, yeah, that's a great deal. Okay, we'll take it. And he comes to the White House. They bring out all the cameras. They have the luncheon all planned. You saw the menu and everything else. I mean, it looked pretty goddamn good. I'm not going to lie. I would have loved to have been there. Listen, I'd have lunch with Uncle Donnie at McDonald's if it meant I just got like half hour, just like to pick his brain and talk to him. And just like, hey, man. He
loves McDonald's.
Facts. And you know what? I love McDonald's too, dude. Like, I cannot wait to start my training regimen again and at the end of this month. And when I start going heavy, because my post-workout meal on chest days, when I go super heavy, was a double quarter pounder with cheese, a large Dr. Pepper, a large fry, a 10-piece nugget, and if I was feeling really frisky, a McChicken. And
sounds great. That's America right there.
That's my Tuesday lunch every day after the gym. And you know what the best part was like, when you train like that, you can eat that and you still lose weight. But anyway, neither here nor there.
Right.
So that was all planned out. The reason all the cameras were there, and this is what I don't think people really are fucking understanding about this whole situation, the way it worked out, because they listen to the legacy media. They listen to fucking morons on Facebook and social media. They have no fucking clue what they're talking about.
Apparently, they have more clout and integrity than people. Now, I can't say I blame them for not listening to people on MSM, but people with actual backgrounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these people. So the way this whole thing worked out was the deal was in place. Zelensky was coming there to basically sign the deal. He wanted the photo op. He asked for the media to be there.
He brought that fucking boxing belt with him.
Yeah, that's sure. That's fine. Like, no problem. Like, yeah, it's gonna be a great day. We're gonna end the war in Ukraine. Like, today's the day. Like, it all ends. Like, we're gonna end it. Then he shows up to the White House, and on the advice and coaching of Victoria Nuland and a couple other Obama figureheads, I can't remember all their names off the top of my head. Victoria Nuland's the one that's standing out right now. What was it, General, and a couple other people. But anyway. They basically, in violation of the Logan Act, told him, like, okay, yeah, make the deal behind closed doors, then go out in public and be like, no, we need more.
Yeah.
And try to stun on him and try to one-up him. And listen, bro, you just dove into a tank with a killer whale and a great white shark and J.D. Vance and Donald Trump, and you're a fat baby seal. And you just tried to flip them off and tell them to go fuck themselves.
That's a good analogy to make.
It ain't gonna work, homeboy. Listen, and Donald Trump straight up told him, like, who do you think you are? Like, you don't have the fucking cards to be playing this right now. And this, you could tell it caught them off guard a little bit because they thought they had a deal in place. They thought this was getting signed today. Everything was going to be good. They were going to shake hands and leave. He wanted the cameras. And the reason he wanted the cameras is because he wanted to try to fucking one-up him. And guess what? It backfired in his fucking face. It backfired so bad. And the thing is that I don't think people understand is that this deal was in place with Rubio. And Rubio can't guarantee. He said, we want security guarantees. But the problem is that either Zelensky's too stupid to have missed what Rubio said and couldn't read between the lines, or he was being intentionally obtuse because he wanted to make Trump look bad because he knows the gravy train has left the station. And, he can't just show up to the White House and walk out with $250 million anymore, or $1 billion, whatever it is. He tried to one-up him. And the problem with that is this was already all said and done. The deal with Rubio was done. But the thing is Zelensky missed it. He didn't read between the lines. What Zelensky either didn't understand or chose to ignore, either way, it's equally as bad, is that if the United States has mining interests in Ukraine, guess what they're going to be protected by? The U.S. military.
Yeah.
So guess what you're going to have? U.S. military as security in those areas. So guess what Russia's not going to do? Fuck with you while the U.S. military is there, because if they attack those lines, they attack U.S. military assets, and now you've just catapulted us into World War III.
Because as you just said, or alluded to, because it has to be alluded to and not be said outright, is
right, because
with us having that interest, in that investment, to protect that investment, it's basically going to force Russia to back the fuck up.
Exactly. So all these people have basically missed the point. Like, they've missed everything that was done with this. And Zelenskyy was the one who asked for the cameras. And then Zelenskyy comes out after the meeting and he says, well, this is why some things should be done behind closed doors. It's like, dickhead,
you're the one
you wanted this done in front of the media. You were the one that wanted this done. We had a deal. You're the one that reneged on it mid-sentence and then made an ass out of yourself. So you can't sit there and fucking be the cause of the problem and then play the victim. Like, nah, dude, like, that ship has sailed in America. We don't do that shit anymore here. We're done with people like you.
Yeah,
like
do you think
ones that
when
want to victimize
FDR
themselves.
was meeting with Churchill and all these other wars afterwards, the LBJ meeting with the other leaders, you think shit like that didn't happen? Of course it did, but it happened behind closed doors. Granted, the media presence wasn't what it is back then.
No, the media wasn't. The media didn't have access to that back then either.
Yeah,
that was like closed door meetings like that happen all the time, but we don't hear shit about it because it's shrewd, it's ruthless, it's negotiating, it's negotiating at the highest level of business and government, like, combined. Like, you have business on one side, government on the other. Now take those and basically, like, here's the NFL. You know what I mean? Like, that's where you're at. Like, you're at that pro peak of both. Everyone in that room is an apex predator. Everyone in that room. And it's like, there are certain ones, it's like, all right, like, you know, this guy's King Kong, but, like, Trump, man, he's Godzilla. Like, all right, we all know who the fucking the HNIC is. It's Trump. But King Kong, yeah, he can hold his own. And, this fucking monster over here, yeah, he's pretty fucking rough and tumble, too. Like, we don't really want to fuck with him. But, nobody wants to fuck with Trump.
He's the king of the dictators.
He is. And, yeah, exactly. So, Zelenskyy tried to play this hand. And, again, just like everything else the Democrats have done for the last, I'd say, decade, has just backfired in their face.
And they look like Elmer Fudd when his rifle backfires and it's all bent and
Bugs Bunny just sticks his finger in the nozzle and just blows up in his face.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's happening because they don't understand that when you do this shit, all you're doing is galvanizing the Trump base even more. And then on top of it, other people who are kind of like apolitical or in the middle or don't really see this stuff all the time, they see what's happening and they're like, wait a minute, hold up. This guy came here. We want, you got Trump yelling at him saying, like, we want peace, we want a ceasefire. And you're the one being like, no, fuck that. And the only people that are on Zelensky's side are the never Trumpers and the hardcore lefties anyway.
Yeah.
The people that we're not winning over at any point anyway, so it doesn't really matter because they're a lost fucking cause. Because they're so delusional and brainwashed, they have no idea what way is up.
And none of them showed up enough in November to make a difference.
Clearly. Yeah, clearly. I mean, it's like, dude, give me a break. Like, and there's people like, oh, well, I remember, like, back in the good old days when, being pro-America was anti-Russian. I'm like, bro, no one's saying I'm pro-Russian.
Yeah.
Just because I'm telling Zelenskyy to go kick rocks doesn't mean I'm pro-Russian. I can be anti-Ukraine and anti-Russia at the same time. Those two things are very plausible because guess what?
That's how I am with Israel and Palestine. Fuck both.
You know what? Honestly, I stand with Israel because, I got a lot of friends of the Hebrew persuasion. And, maybe they're not all the same in that regard, a little bit different, whatever, but like...
Yes, I have plenty of Jewish friends.
I love, I like Israel because...
It doesn't have anything to do with that. It's like, that's not our problem, I don't think.
It's not our problem, but we made it our problem in World War II. After World War II. And we made it our problem. So guess what?
We did the right thing.
Like, hey, listen, man, you nutted inside that fat bitch and made a kid. It's your problem. Like, you fucked up. At the time, you were
the father.
You were fucking hammered, the Jaeger bombs were flowing, everything was good, the sex was great, You didn't want to tell anybody about it, and guess what? For like 2 months, you thought you skated. You're like, yeah, I banged that fat bitch, and no one's gonna know.
You thought she was just a creamer, and it turns out 2 months later, your dick is on fire.
And then you get that phone, that text message 2 months later. I missed my period. And you're like, so what do I fucking care? And she's like,
I thought I bombed the shit out of that.
Yeah, like, I don't think you understand. So that's kind of what Israel is in a way. But no, listen, Israel Palestine, like that's a whole different thing. Like for me, I'm on team pave Gaza, dude. Like, listen, Israel, even though I know they can be dirty and underhanded and they do things, they do it in the essence of survival. They don't paratroop into fucking concerts and rape, murder, and behead innocent concert goers for no reason.
Yes, I'm not saying they do that.
The Palestinians over there, they are straight fucking savages. Like, as far as I'm concerned, like they're right up there with like the fucking what was the really shitty? Was it the Cherokees that were really shitty when we came over here?
Of them were, man.
I mean, yeah, like
they pretty much all were. They weren't all Squanto teaching the settlers, the pilgrims, how to properly grow corn by putting fish into the ground with it because it acts as a
for every one Sacagawea, there was like 16 of those guys from fucking Last of the Mohicans fucking scalping people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everybody gets all mad, like, oh, this is stolen land from the indigenous people. Like, nah, fuck you, bitch. We conquered this shit. Okay, it's not my fault. Y'all were still living in teepees, and we had already invented gunpowder like 100 years earlier.
If it wasn't various groups of Europeans that came over here and did it, it would have been somebody else.
Exactly. So anyway, like I said, hashtag pave Gaza.
Yes,
they're fucking savages. I could the whole world would be better off without a good portion of the Middle East, in my opinion. But anyway,
that's where I stand. But yes, back to Zelensky Trump.
But to Zelensky Trump, like, so Zelensky thinks that like he could come in here and just start swinging his dick around, and it's obviously it's alienating a lot of people because a lot of people are sitting here saying like, whoa, hold up, like Trump's asking, like Trump wants a ceasefire, he wants peace.
Yeah.
And you have these people that are like these libs that are like, oh well, I'm anti-Russia, and I'm like, dude, I never said I was pro-Russia, but it's a lot. Listen, it's like, remember that scene from Days of Thunder when Rowdy Burns and Cole Trickle, Tom Cruise and Mike Rocker are going. They get ordered to go to dinner, and they're gonna take one car, and then Michael Rooker pulls over, and he says, "Since I agree that you're not going to let me drive this car to dinner, and you agree that I'm not going to let you drive this car to dinner, I think there's only one way to solve this." And they go and they each get a rental car, and then they basically like drive on the beach and beat the shit out of each other the whole way. It's kind of like that with the United States and Russia. Like the United States is looking at Russia saying like, since I agree that you're not going to let me win this war, and you agree that I'm not going to let you're not going to let me win this war, I guess the best thing to do is just probably not have war, because mutually assured destruction is a very real fucking thing, and no one has more nuclear weapons in the world than the USSR, or the former USSR, the Russian populace, the Russian government, the Russian military. They have more nuclear weapons and warheads than anybody. Allegedly. I mean, we don't know exactly how many we have, but we do know that
pumping their numbers up a bit.
It could be, but
there's no reason why we shouldn't believe that they are capable of it. Because
listen, man, I don't give a flying fuck. A warhead from 1955. You drive in the back of a truck in the middle of downtown London and detonate it. Guess what? You're still gonna have a pretty bad fucking day. Now, is it a modern nuclear weapon? Like no.
That's still wiping out a huge chunk of that city.
Yeah, it's still going to be a pretty in the words of Sarah Connor, it's going to be a pretty bad fucking day for anybody not wearing 2 million sunblock.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So the whole bottom line of this thing is, and this is what I challenge anybody who is on the side of the Ukrainians, and if anybody listening who thinks that, this is war, like if you find yourself in a conversation with somebody who's, well, we need to support Ukraine's war effort. We need to support Ukraine, and we should be sending them money because fuck Russia. Okay, cool. What does victory for Ukraine look like? Outline that for me. Detail outline. Not even detail. Just roughly outline what does victory for Ukraine look like.
Well, it would be like no more fighting, but also like the Ukraine has all their stuff back. It'd be something stupid like that.
Okay, cool. So they're not getting their stuff back. I don't know if you know how war works, but once land is taken, it's very rarely given back. Okay? And you have the Donbass region, which, again, 3 years ago, nobody in this country even knew fucking existed. That was the what? The Donbass region? Is that from Lord of the Rings, bro?
Yeah.
No,
is that where
it's
Shelob lives?
Yeah, it's this region that is actually very pro-Russia, and in Ukraine that speaks mostly Russian and different dialects, all that shit, but like they're very pro-Russian, and they have very Russian-heavy sentiment over there. They don't necessarily give a fuck if they actually prefer to be part of Russia again. And I think they've tried to secede a few times, but it's been failed. So you can go back through this whole fucking history of the Ukraine. And, back in, was it 2016, their last president, who was a very, he wasn't pro-Russia, but he was very friendly with Russia, and was very, peace-driven, was like, hey, man, you guys do, we'll make things work. You know what I mean?
Like, we're in a relationship.
It's going to be a working relationship. And what did we do? Oh, that's right. Obama launched the CIA-led coup to fucking out his ass because they're like, nah, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
We need somebody who's anti-Russia in there. And we're like, why? Well, because we need a war because we got money to make. Oh, okay. And that's true. Go look it up. I'm not going to sit here and fucking do your homework for you. But at the same time, the history of Ukraine and Russia is a very murky thing. And again, the Ukraine getting overrun by Russia, it does little to nothing to me, to you, to anybody in this country. I honestly don't give a flying fuck if Russia takes over Ukraine.
Nor do I. The people on the left will say, though, that's all it took for Nazi Germany to take. All he had to do was take Poland, and then he was on, the dominoes started falling in his favor as far as
we didn't have this thing called NATO at the time,
and
we didn't have, we hadn't learned our lesson yet. We didn't realize that Poland could fall to Germany, and next thing you know, we're literally in the middle of a fucking world war and a Holocaust on top of it. But my point is, these pro-left, these pro-Ukrainian leftists, which is, I think, hilarious now that the left has become like the champions of war, and they're like, yeah, war, more of it.
Only if it suits whatever their narrative is. I don't even understand.
Or makes Trump look bad.
Yeah, and that's the only reason why they sided with Ukraine so much is because it's Russia, and they somehow think Putin controls Trump still, even though
which is hilarious to me. That is just got to be the funniest shit.
And that's that they're trying to make. It's insane.
I mean, it really is, dude. They're like, oh my god, Trump's a Putin puppet, and I'm like, nobody has been harder on Russia since Reagan than Trump has.
Yeah.
And they're like, what do you? But he's a Russian asset. I'm like, stop watching Rachel Maddow. I don't know what else to tell you at this point. If you're still getting your news from CNN, MSNBC, CBS, I don't know what to tell you. You're either just ignorant or you're dumb. Either way,
or
suck. I can't fix stupid. It's one of those things. And I get into these debates with people all the time. And next thing, they're like, well, did you see what James Carville said? I'm like, James Carville? I'm like, you think that fucking faggot's a fucking middle of the line, nonpartisan fucking hat? That guy's fucking his left. He's left of Lenin, for fuck's sake.
He's made his whole career being the raging Cajun, which to him means being a raging liberal.
Yeah, and I mean, he was one of Clinton's go-to guys, for the Clinton administration. He's a fucking
hardcore. He knows how to speak publicly. Now, what he says doesn't make any sense most of the time, but he says it loudly, and you can tell he's trying. So, therefore, people listen to him.
He's a weird-looking guy too, so you know exactly who he is when he's talking.
Oh yeah, he looks like Fire Marshal Bill at this point, the Jim Carrey character from.
He really does.
Let me tell you something. Yeah.
I like that. What was that? Jim Carrey's was it Crazy Larry? Was it SNL or Mad TV? when he was Crazy Larry, and he's like cleaning his M16. He's like, "This is how we lock and load, lock and load, lock and load."
No, he was only on In Living Color as far as the sketch shows go.
Oh, okay, it was that one then. So maybe that's why I can't find it. It's like putting in the wrong show.
It probably was that, though.
He has like a knock on the door, and he like flips over his coffee table and gets behind him. He's like, "Who is it?"
Yeah, I think I remember that one.
It was fucking hilarious. But anyway, I digest. But no, this whole scene that took place and the reaction to what happened in the Oval Office on Friday is got to be one of, I don't know if it is equal parts hilarious and cringe all at the same time. Like, I don't know, did you see the video of that one guy that was like fake crying? And like, I've never been more embarrassed. This man is fighting for his country. And he's got like this dingy ass, like looks like an Atlanta Braves hat on backwards. And he's like,
I haven't seen it. I actually haven't seen much reaction from the left on it. Maybe I'm just
a fucking bundle of sticks.
Subconsciously, dude, maybe I've been avoiding it.
Let me see if I can find it, and I'll send it to you because it's so bad, dude.
But yeah, like you said before, it is what Trump exactly said. He's not, because Trump was constantly asked, even after the interview and during it, are you pro-Ukrainian or pro-Russia? Like, who do you want to win this war? He's like, I just want everyone to stop dying. He's like, I want the fighting to stop. That's what I want. He's like, we're past the point of who wins and who loses. Let's just end this. And somehow people on the left just don't hear that.
No. Oh, yeah, here it is. All right, I got it. I'm going to send it to you right now. Oh, my God, this link. I'm DMing it to you. This is so...
I can play it on stream.
It doesn't matter which one I send it to.
The one that I sent you the link on.
Okay.
Send it Mike's way.
Paste.
But yeah, this fucking, the levels of human stupidity never cease to amaze me most of the time. All right. Let's...
Yeah, you gotta watch this. It's so bad.
All right, hold on. Let me make sure I can get this. I'm just making sure this pops up.
I don't give
the memes in this thread are absolutely fucking lit.
Oh, I can imagine. Where the fuck is it? Oh. There we go. All right. Gonna play it now. I don't know if you can see it, but you can hear it.
give a fuck what he wears. This man has been respectful to every leader in the world. Everybody. And you clowns want to fucking do that shit to him when he comes over here. And then talk to him like shit and kick him out of the White House. You fucking disgraceful son of a bitches.
This guy calls himself a Southern man?
Yeah.
Man. I just want to be next to Zelenskyy right now.
Why? You gonna cup his balls?
I wish I could talk to him.
Tell him everything's gonna be okay.
Forgive us.
It's so bad.
No, that can't be. This is real? Like,
this is, I mean,
this isn't a
damn,
bit?
man, I can't.
I don't think it's a bit, dude.
I mean, it it's hard to tell these days because there's a lot of stuff like this that is like.
I know, and that's the tough part. Is like you have so many people creating content at so many different angles and doing so many different things. And it's not even about it's. Listen,
yeah.
When I troll, people always accuse me of being a troll.
Yeah,
and
I
I'm
get
like,
that too.
And I'm like, no, I'm not a troll. Like, I generally don't say things I don't actually believe.
Exactly.
I just say it loudly and with a lot of, I say it with my chest. And I don't back down from it.
Vigor, yes.
Yeah, like I don't back down from it. So people mistake the fact they're like, oh, you're just a troll. I'm like, no, a troll is somebody who says shit and does shit that they don't necessarily believe in, or they're doing it just to get a reaction out of you. I don't do that. I say things and I do things because that's what I actually believe.
Mm-hmm. I'm a man of my convictions, goddammit.
Yeah, and it's like I tell people all the time, there's nothing I say on social media that I wouldn't say to your face.
100%.
And people get like,
same.
And people are like, oh, well, you're such an asshole on social media. I'm like, well, no, I'm an asshole in real life, but I just have a really, really, excellent way of finessing it in real life to make you think that I'm not being an asshole. Like, like I'm still shitting on you, and everyone, anyone with 6 brain cells that can rub together, they'll figure it out. But this, like, guys like this, like, dude, like the content farming has got so bad with social media. Like, I mean, I get, like, obviously, like, I'm a big gym guy, right? And one of the biggest fucking things that I've noticed over the last couple of years is, and it's almost like people are like almost doing it shamelessly at this point, using fake weights to make a video. And I'm like, and they're like, 585-pound bench press, and like they like do it with like ease, but like the bar doesn't bend, like the weights don't shake, like nothing rattles. I'm like,
physics isn't playing a role here the way it should
I'm like,
be.
I mean, listen, like, I've never benched 585, but I've benched 500, and I know what that looks like, and it don't look like that. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? Like, it gets so out of control. It's so bad. So I don't know if this guy is doing a bit. Like, no one's really outed him yet, I don't think. Like, I've been looking to see if anyone found his TikTok or like what it was and like posted anything other as anything else he's posted, but like, regardless, like whether you're doing
it could go either way. It falls within that range of being like
so ridiculous it has to be fake,
or just ridiculous. There are people even crazier than that, and it's they're legit, 100% legit.
Well, and that's the other thing too, Trav. Like, we get to the point where like, hold on, like, this is ridiculous, and it's so ridiculous that I can't fathom it being real, but also, that's a problem because now I can't, like, I don't know, like, I'm it's so ridiculous, but I'm inclined to believe that it's real because in today's day and age, this is how people act. Like, I went to a first birthday party on Saturday, and one of my friends was like, as soon as I walked in, she was like, no politics, and I was just like, "What?" Like,
I just got here. What?
I literally just walked. I haven't even taken off my hoodie yet. Like, what's the problem? And it's just like people get so upset and so mad and so like over the top, like just pissed off. Like,
I have people do the same thing to me, but they don't say that. They just say, "Oh, be nice." Like, just be nice. Like,
no, like, I'm sorry, but like, listen, if the conversation goes there, I'm not
nice.
Yes, I'm always nice. I'm never mean. And like one of our good friends, like he says that all the time. He's like, he's like, I'm gonna write a book on the dichotomy of fats. Biggest dick bag on the fucking planet on Facebook. But as soon as you see him in real life, you're like, I love this guy. Like, he's so nice.
Oh,
and I'm
he's just a big snuggie bear.
And I'm like, no, I'm just as big of a, like, I'm saying the same things to you in person. The difference is I'm saying to you in person. Do you know what I mean? Like, everything comes off a little condescending and snarky through text. Like, we all know that.
Well, because context isn't an inflection and how the words are spoken is not directly inferred there. Yet, you don't know how somebody... Sarcasm does not translate into text unless...
It really doesn't.
It's already made known.
Yeah, and so you got to know those things. And listen, that's not my fault. And I'm not going to apologize for it. And, am I being a little bit more of a dickbag on Facebook than, maybe I want to be? Sometimes, but like, when I tell you to read a fucking book, like I'm saying that because read a fucking book. Like, goddamn, like that's just like kind of a normal fucking shitty, like snarky thing to say to somebody when you're shit talking them.
Mm-hmm. Or at the very least, listen to an audiobook.
Yeah, and I mean, and not for nothing, but like most of these conversations that I get into, like, or like back and forth about this stuff like this, I'm not the instigator. And I know people find that like incredibly impossible to believe. And I'm like, no, I'm like, I can honestly say I have never gone to Gillette Stadium and started a fight. Never, not once. I've been in a million of them and I've finished all of them, but I've never started one. And I will go to my grave saying that. Like, I'm all for the banter back and forth. Like, yes. Okay, it's fun. That's what makes sports great, right? It's good times. You want to, yeah. Hey, fuck you. No, fuck you. All right, let's have a beer. Cheers.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck you.
Yeah, you're all right. Yeah.
Yeah, you're all right. You're all right. I'm all right. Just, we got different jerseys on, so
fuck yourself. I'm gonna go.
We'll let alcohol and pieces of laundry determine our mood for the next 6 days. But whatever.
We'll both be puking in the parking lot later. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. I'll meet you at the Dunks for a fucking pick-me-up before we drive home 67 beers deep.
I'll see you there, you cocksucker.
Yeah, fuck you. And then you slug it out in the parking lot, and you're like, fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. And you're like, it was a good fighter, though. All right? He did get a couple good licks in. Yeah, he's a tough kid, But it's like, I've never once started a fight. Like, I've always thought, like, fighting, like, physically fighting over, like, a sporting event was the most, like, retarded thing you could possibly do. I'm like, listen, man, like, if you're really that passionate and you really want to play that bad, like, I'm sure there's a local fucking junior college that could use some walk-ons or, a semi-pro team that's looking for fucking some guy with some pent-up aggression to, like, be a crash test dummy for their starters. Like,
yeah, there's plenty of ways for you to still do that, sure.
Yeah, there's plenty of ways for you to release this anger that you got going on. Me, like, listen, I love my teams. I will smash inanimate objects all day when my team doesn't do well. And will it affect my mood until Tuesday or Wednesday? Absolutely. But I will never let it. I've never gone and like punched somebody in the face because my team lost. Like that's so ridiculous to me. Like I'll talk shit and like whatever. And you're talking shit. I'm talking shit. But like. I'm never going to be the one to bring it to blows. I've never been. Not one time. And I have people that will back me up on that have been to games with me. Even my fucking uncle, who thought going to a game with me was going to be the worst fucking thing he's ever done, was one of his worst decisions. He's like, just behave today, all right? And I'm like, I'm not. Listen, I'm not the one. And then it turns out, like, the end of the game, and the people sitting behind us, like, their daughter, like, their, like, late teens, early 20s daughter, starts running her mouth to me and like throwing shit at me. And I'm like, lady, I'm not, listen, what the fuck? I'm like, and I look at the dad and I'm like, you going to get your dog on a leash? Would you call my daughter? I was like, well, I could have your daughter calling me daddy in about 20 minutes if I really wanted to.
Oh shit.
Or you could get her. And like, I said that to him. And that's when like, listen, I'm not saying I de-escalate. You know what I mean? By no means do I de-escalate. No. You do not shit talk a shit talker. That doesn't happen. But I never started. This works. I never started. I never ever started. I will always finish it though. So, and trust me, you think you can take it to a level? I am willing to go so much deeper and darker than you fucking even can fathom. And I'll I'll back it up. I'll back it up every fucking time. So, anyway, the whole point is, going back to this Zelenskyy thing, is I never say shit on Facebook that I won't say to your face or I won't tell you or discuss with you in person because I don't believe in that. I'm not a keyboard warrior. I'm not one of these people that hides behind a keyboard and says, I see this guy fucking, I haven't seen this guy in 5 years. I can say whatever I want to him. I'm never going to run into him. And no, I don't believe in that because eventually I'll run into you at some point. Whether it's in the grocery, like if I had my wife laughs all the time. She's like, my wife's like, if I had a nickel every time we were like in a public place and somebody saw you and then like came up to you and like, hey dude, hey man, what's up, bro? Like, hey, sorry about that shit I said, fucking, I was drinking that night, like, shit was fucking tense, whatever, but I didn't mean none of that, bro. I was just being an asshole. Yeah. And I'm like, who are you? Like, what's your name again? Like, sorry, bro. Like, get in line, dog. Like, oh, you thought you were special? Like, you were one of like 40 people that said some shit like that to me that night. So it's and my wife dies laughing every time because it happens all the time. The feast, dude. At least 3 or 4 people come up to me and apologize every year at the feast for some shit they said to me on Facebook, and I'm like, I'm like, do I know you? Sorry. Like, I'm not just stunting. The vodka done it. You know what I mean? Like.
That's funny. I love it every time I see you and your wife there because it's always just front. It's like, here we go.
Yeah.
It's officially the feast now. I saw you guys.
Right. I was like, I see Trav, and I look around, like, oh, there's Paul, and I'm good. And now I've seen some of my favorite people, which is the whole reason I go every year because I love to see people. And I love going there too. And people are just like, people walk in, they'll tap me out, and they'll be like, oh, what's up, kid? How you doing? I'll be like, hey, and they'll be like, hey, no politics, and I'm like. What do you mean no politics, bro? Did they tell Picasso no brush? Like, what the fuck? Like,
do they just assume that you're gonna bring it up automatically because
always.
you're you?
Yeah, and they don't want to get into a debate. And a lot of times, and I find this about people.
Same, brother, same.
They don't. Yeah, they don't want to debate people like you and I because they know that because through what we've gone through online, they're either one of two ways. They're like, all right, either this guy's a fucking idiot. This is what they're thinking. They think either you or I are a fucking idiot, and we're so set in our ways we're never going to change. We're never going to hear any information that's going to change us. Or the ones that think higher of us will say, nah, he knows his shit. I know my shit. We're going to agree to disagree, and I really just don't want to ruin my night.
Yes.
And not for nothing.
Unless they do agree to do it.
But both of those, to me, are losers' attitudes.
Yes.
So
they're defeated
by saying either one of those things, either out loud or to yourself, you've already conceded that I win the argument. That my argument is better than yours.
Yeah,
that
they're making an excuse.
Yeah, you're making an excuse because you can't, like every liberal in the history of liberalism, which is a mental disorder, right up there with transgenderism. you remove emotion from your argument and you have nothing. You know, like one of my friends said to me on Facebook the other day, and he's like, well, if, you know, and I posted that video. I don't know if you saw it. I posted there was a 15-minute video.
Yes, I did watch it.
For those that don't know, it was a 15-minute video of a body cam of a Ukrainian soldier attempting to take a building where a lone Russian soldier was by himself. So it's a one-on-one fight. He throws a grenade in through the hole the Russian's shooting out of, and it turns into a one-on-one hand-to-hand combat knife fight. And the Ukrainian gets absolutely fucking murked. Like, and if you watch the one with the subtitles with the translations in it, at the end, the Ukrainian's just like, all right, hey, chill. You win. Just, you win. You were the greatest fighter on earth today. Just let me bleed out in peace.
Another day, like just
let no. It wasn't even let me live. He's just like let me bleed out and die in peace.
Okay.
Like he's like, you tore me up, wicked good.
All right, that's it.
You're the best fighter ever. I'm done. Just let me sit here and smoke this cigarette and die. And that's exactly what happens. Like, and the Russian gets up and leaves the guy and doesn't kill him. Like, and leaves him to bleed out and die. Mm-hmm. But it was a 15-minute video, a struggle between two men. And for every fucking person that sits there and is like, no, we need to back Ukraine. We need to back Ukraine. This war has to keep going. We have to win this war. Okay, first of all, what does a win look like to you? Because if you think Zelensky's going to like parade through Red Square, you know, in the victory, I got really bad news for you.
Whatever they have in mind, because they haven't even articulated it yet, but it's going to be something absurd and completely unreasonable.
Yeah. Yeah. Russia withdraws and gives everything back to Ukraine. Yeah, that's not happening. Sorry.
And like reparations and like.
That ain't happening. I don't know if you know how war works, but if Putin does that, he loses all face, and he's toast in his own country. Like he'll be on the next flight that same flight that general was on that blew up midair. You know what I mean? Like, not happening, bro.
Daisy.
Oh no! How did that happen? Security failed, and Putin was assassinated. Oh my god! And then meanwhile, the Russian oligarchs, no shit.
Oh,
like, okay,
oh my god, who was on that flight?
Oh,
Oh
jeez,
no!
Louise, it was potent.
Oh no!
One day. You know, like, it's okay. So a Ukrainian victory is not happening. But like those people that want this war to continue and watch that 15-minute video, those two men fighting to the death. That's what you're voting for. That's what you want. You want more 20-something-year-old men to have to sit there and be like, and like, I don't know if you watch the video and you like look like, the dude's got a fucking straight like a Rambo knife. And I mean, it's like a 6, 7, 8-inch blade, and he's knifing the fuck out of this dude. And he's like, I'm torn up good, man. Like, just let me bleed out in peace, please.
Mm-hmm.
And the Russian's like, all right, cool. And lets him bleed out and die in peace. Like, that's what you're voting for. That's what you want.
It could have ended on Friday.
Or it could all be over, and no Ukrainian or Russian would have to. And I don't give a shit. Like, listen, I know people are always going to say, like, well, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. No.
Bullshit.
Like, that makes, yeah. In, World War II, that made sense.
Yeah, and then we were in the Cold War
when Russia was the
decades.
enemy. When Russia was the enemy of Germany, it made sense. And we dragged our feet and made sure we weakened Russia to the point, like that we didn't think they were going to be able to do anything after the war, but lo and behold, they did. Never underestimate that Russian spirit, baby. But like,
and many people too.
Well, yeah, no shit. Like people like yeah, more people died in Stalingrad than almost the entire World War II. Like, what?
Oh, it was a meat grinder.
Yeah, huh?
Stalin was a bad man. Like,
yeah, like all that shit about like the Russians retreating, getting shot by their own people for retreating. That wasn't exaggerated. Like that actually happened. Yeah, and if you really want to read about who like the biggest pieces of shit in World War II, where like everybody like the Germans are like a number one, but man, go read about some of the shit the Japs did, especially the Chinese. Who that is?
Oh, every party's hands were dirty for the most part, except for the countries that were like directly invaded.
Oh, as they say in South Park, the rape of Don King. I didn't even know Don King got raped. Like that was pretty fucking rough shit, dude. Pretty rough shit. But I digress. It's just I get so annoyed with people that just come off with these ultra strong opinions without having any real factual basis or backup to why they feel the way that they do. And it's like they're like, oh well, I listen to NPR and I listen to that, and I'm like, dude, no, stop. Like, if you haven't figured out by now that all that shit you're listening to is the reason why we're here in the first place, then you are the problem. You're not part of the problem. You are the problem.
Yeah.
Like, I hate to use the term woke because it's so played out and it's so like just overused for everything. But you remember like what the term woke meant, right?
How they initially said it started. Yeah. Oh shit! Did we freeze up?
Originally, is much deeper, broader meaning, before it became just something to describe something that was like cancel culture-y. You know what I mean? Or like it just became a lazy man's way of saying like anything I don't like. You know what I'm saying? Like, the NFL's woke now.
Well, yeah,
like,
same as any.
No, the NFL's not. They just pander.
Mm-hmm. Shit. Having some technical difficulties here. Fuck. Let me see.